Justice, where are you? Michel and Linda are here.
Love you, Linda.
The world is justice. Will we ever find justice?
The courthouse the other day in the hallway, you're singing
Will
"Oh
we
Happy
know
Day."
justice when we see it? To be and down may I lead the way, hoping justice will win the day. Listener clues, finding justice where we can. Join us now, we're on the run. Justice is waiting, we'll see it done.
And welcome to Justice Serve TV. Hey,
I
let's
want to
see.
dance. I want to dance every time I see a new open, a little reggaeton.
A little reggae. So short week this week.
Except that we said we were gonna take the week off.
Yeah, well, you know.
And guess what? We haven't. Okay, and we're not. Obviously,
Yeah.
as it turns
Yeah,
out.
these-
We'll
these
tell
little-
people why.
Little snacks are like a short day, and then we'll sprinkle some of these in
But this
over
is
the
a
week.
big snack. This is a big
Yeah.
snack.
Okay, let's talk about Kelsey Fitzsimmons, of course, back in court this week. We know that the Supreme Judicial Court is weighing her case, and I was trying to think of like a 3-sentence way to tell people who don't know Kelsey Fitzsimmons, and I can't come up with a 3-sentence way. This was the former officer on leave because of postpartum who was shot when her baby daddy, sorry, some people don't like that term, former fiance, father of her son, came to the house saying that she was a threat to the child, to herself, to the fiance, took the baby, and in that exchange, there was a gunshot fired, 2 shots, and Kelsey Fitzsimmons was hit in the chest. Major issues, 2 surgeries, 53 days in the hospital. Now she's out and in jail because the Honorable Kathleen McCarthy Naaman decided that if she can't do the Scram test without pain because of her injuries,
What's
best
Scram
thing to do is
test?
put her back in jail. Scram is the something alcohol monitoring, something constant, something alcohol monitoring. You got to blow hard, and that would hurt somebody who has a lung that was collapsed, bullet fragment still in the back part of her chest. But of course, it's just better to put her in jail because she can't do the Scram testing without some pain. We don't want to torture her. So that's where she is. Single justice appeal to Justice Dewar failed, and now it is up for the full panel. And what they originally had hoped to do was obviously have this heard sooner rather than later. And so Tim Bradel filed a request. I will bring this up.
And he
Tim
is.
Bradel is her attorney, is Ms. Fitzsimmons' attorney. And let me see if I get the right one here. And so on the docket itself, you can see that on the 13th, he submitted, it was a motion to waive Rule 19, which is basically the reply, the ability to file a reply. They are the appellates. They filed the brief initially. Then the respondent or appellee, Commonwealth, they filed theirs on the 20th. There could be the opportunity for the appellee, in this case Fitzsimmons, through Mr. Bradel, to file a reply brief in reply to the response of the appellee. They chose not to for reasons of speeding this thing up. And the court said, further, appellant requests this matter be submitted for the court's consideration and advanced to November 21st. That request denied. That would have been last Friday. The matter is to be submitted on December 3rd, which was the original date offered by the court, if that's the right word I can use here. That was the original plan.
So just for all of you, appellant is Kelsey Fitzsimmons. Appellee is the Commonwealth, or as I like to say, the government.
It is the state government. So that's what happened there. And there was no rising, like Tim Bradel suggested. There might be, just look at the docket. They may, some decision may rise like a crocus in the spring, but it really hasn't. So on the 20th, when the appellee, respondent, state, Commonwealth replied or put their response in, it was accepted, done. That's it. They get till tomorrow to, well, what is today? They get till just before the decision, really, to file additional copies, anything else. But the material that this court will decide upon is in by both sides. It's all in. And that includes a bunch of audio files, right? Which we know is going to be critical.
Oh, by the way, YouTube, This is all public
You-
documents
Yeah,
that
YouTube. Don't get me started
everybody in
on
the
YouTube.
whole world has access to. It's a matter of public concern. So all information out there is published. We're just publishing it as journalists so that we can inform the public about it. So YouTube, that's a lesson in law, something that you may need.
I synthesize it like this. YouTube, bite me. These guys, as you probably know by now, because I've been ranting about it through the course of
bots.
what?
Bots, 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 YouTube bots.
Bots. Yes.
Bots.
Yeah. When you ask for an appeal to be reviewed, you hope that it's what? Is that a senior bot? Is that one of the supervisor bots, or is a human involved? Anyway, they flagged us for our report last week when we, as far as I know, we're the only ones with this material at this point. When we got the appendices attached to the Commonwealth's response.
Public documents.
Obviously, because we got them. And we went on the air into great detail, went through these because there were those statements in there that were, as I said many times when we were going through it, I said, I've never seen this stuff before. Apparently, it's not been out there before. But none of it is a violative of the community standards, whatever those may be, of YouTube. Or the other one I like is cyber harassment and bullying. We also got flagged for that. So anyway,
I want to tell them the funny part.
What's that?
I posted pictures because everyone was asking, and because I had been off the air for a day for my 25th wedding anniversary.
That was the
wedding anniversary. So I posted a picture of my wedding and everyone attending, and my husband and my son, who I love dearly. And then I posted a picture of my husband, Dr. Michael Bod, and I, 25 years later, having dinner at our anniversary. And guess what? That got flagged as somehow inappropriate. You want to talk about that? I guess they just want people who are divorced, not people who are married.
It is just that was the worst, and that one that's actually the one that came up here, says at 1:44:10 or 1:44:51. So that's the time code, and it was a long episode because we're going through all this material. That was at the very end. How in the world could that be violative of anything?
It's mine. I own it. I want to put it on Justice Serve TV to show you how happy we are. My husband came on the night before. He talked about, he thanked me for marrying him. Everyone was asking for pictures. I gave pictures, and YouTube says, oh, no, you can't do that. Well, let me tell you, if we had to go into a court proceeding, I think that we would win.
Yeah, well, if they want to deplatform us, do us a favor, because all the crap that we would expose would be amazing. So then there was, so what I've done is tweak it each time they've pulled it. And I've pulled out the reflected, like it'll show a 30-second window that they think is a violation. So I will pull that out and repost it. Denied, and it'll be another chunk. It's almost like, well, we'll just wait till you fix this one, and then we'll pick another one. And the one with your wedding photos was the third or fourth attempt to clean it up by their standards.
Can you imagine that? I guess if you are an assassin shooter of some sort and you want to post pictures of all the guns that you have and you want to interact with all those kind of people like the Parkland shooter did, if you recall, that would be okay.
Oh, yeah,
but happy wedding, happy time, happy marriage, not okay.
No, we don't allow that. Yeah, that's not appropriate. I don't understand it. And some of the earlier ones were early in the piece, like 550 something. And I said, okay, I'll cut you some slack. Even though this is all public information, those police reports that we were going through showed what is now her former address, Kelsey Fitzsimmons' former address, right? Because she sold the property, by the way. I think I posted it the other day. It sold for $555.
And it's on Realtor.com. It's on Redfin.com. It's on all the realtor states.
So I thought, well, the bot is seeing that, right? And just flagging it. So I'll just appeal it and some human will look at it and use common sense. No, denied. And so you only get to appeal once, then they just totally remove it. So I went and re-edited, taking out the chunks that they had referenced, and then reloaded it. Denied, appeal, denied, reloaded a third time, pulled, appeal. I think that one may still be pending. But when they came up with your wedding photos, I said, I can't win this. There's just no way we're going to win this.
like,
And if this material were all over the place, and it's public, obviously, but if it were out there and elsewhere available, I'd be less worried about it. I wouldn't be so annoyed. I'd say, screw you, YouTube. Fine, you're hurting yourself because you're not getting the 40% that we're stuck paying you. But because this stuff is not readily available unless you go through some hoops, you can go up there right now and get them. Go to the clerk's office, and they'll give them to you. Maybe charge you for copies, but that's how public they are. Anyway, okay.
I guess I won't be able to post pictures of my 26th anniversary.
Yeah, you're just lucky that your birthday photos didn't get slammed.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, maybe those are the ones that maybe my birthday photos should have gotten flagged.
Yeah. Brother.
Thank
Anyway,
you, family, for staying with us. But we just want to tell you what we go through for this now. And you realize that we've achieved 5 million views on this channel in about a year, right? Which is pretty incredible. We thank this community for that. It's not like we're making $5 million. I mean,
no.
So this is the labor of love.
Yeah, and I know what limitations YouTube has. I get it. It's it's the overlords make all these decisions, and we put up with it because it is, to be honest, the best platform. That's just the fact. It's the biggest media outlet in the world. But when this happens, it's just so outrageous. I'm threatening to just, there's got to be an alternative, or we need to press these guys to the point where they, deplatform you, and then you've got a legal action. But anyway, okay. We started on the Fitzsimmons matter because that's what is involved in this removal of our episode from last week. But we want to talk about something else with regard to her case. Oh, I thought you were going to jump in.
Pretty important, something else.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's defendant's Kelsey Fitzsimmons' motion for specific discovery. Now, remember, she has a trial date in January. And one of the things I think that the court was alluding to, it's not moving up her hearing to get out before Thanksgiving, is because the trial date is coming up. So this is actually in relation to that. This is not in relation to the specific bail motion that's applying. The bail motion applies obviously to her case, but this is relation to the normal discovery you would do in a case where you're defending yourself against the Commonwealth, or as again I say, the government who's trying to put you in jail. So these are Timothy Bradel, her counsel's requests that the court order the Commonwealth to provide very specific discovery. And we should go through them real quickly. Sure. Or not so quickly, because they're important.
And sometimes when you put these documents together in discovery, they seem kind of clunky because you have to phrase them in a certain way to get the result that you want. So bear with the clunkiness. Let's alternate. I'll do number one.
Okay.
All evidence of promises, rewards, or inducements given or offered to any civilian witness, including but not limited to Justin A. And I think we got clipped in the episode I've been complaining about because I called him alien. Let's see what happens if they do it again. Anyway, Ashley A, Brendan A, Courtney A, Lisa A, Douglas A, NA Community Support Coordinator Crystal Clooney, Deandra Davis, Cassandra Mazzone, we know her. That's the former friend of Kelsey Fitzsimmons until they were out of high school, and then it was a ghost town. Katrina Caruso and Michelle Mitchell. So again, evidence of promises, rewards, or inducements.
Inducements. So I wonder what kind of information he may have that maybe.
So the only one I can think of, because we read the statements from her, Cassandra Mazzone, they just seemed very biased. And maybe if you're getting some remuneration, you sound like that in a statement to the cops.
Very, very interesting. And of course, they have these funds for what we used to call snitches. Not that any of these are a snitch, but the Commonwealth does have funds where they can pay people if they wish. So I guess that's also what he's going for, to see if there's any payment. You have to take time off from work. You have to do this. I can't come in for an interview unless I get paid, and whether there's any payments from those funds. Okay, so number two, and I'll let you comment after I read, because this one's long. All statements of any witness known to the Commonwealth, regardless of whether they are intended to be called in the case, including but not limited to those contained in grand jury minutes, Text messages, whether on department or personal cell phones, emails, voicemails, notes, writings, and the like made by, between, or among any and all police officers, civilians present, and or firefighters or EMS personnel who responded to a certain address.
Yeah, there's the address.
That's the address where she was shot on June 30th, 2025. Defendant requests the defendant requests the same information from any further witnesses directing or managing or otherwise involved in the police response and investigation, whether intended to be called or not by the Commonwealth, who were not physically present at the incident at address on June 30th, 2025. You know what gets me? There was a police interview. There was a presser that had the address by the chief of police. And so we're about being careful, even though it's not owned by her anymore, but this is where she shot, and everybody knows it. You can Google it. It's a certain address.
So they're looking for anybody and everybody that had any connection to that initial investigation that wasn't at the scene, right? Which will help them, I think, figure out who's been talking to whom. Maybe there's a story they were collaborating on, and maybe there's some people that the Commonwealth has not yet told them about. They haven't on the record said, they have the police reports. We know that. We've seen them. We've shown them. They've got them. But what else? What else? If their response was identifying every single person on the current police reports, at least you've confirmed that. And if somebody rises up, says, well, no, I talked to them. They came to me on this day, and here's what I said. Well, why wasn't that disclosed?
Right.
So
and we've seen so many cases where things get disclosed 25, 30 years ago that are hidden. So,
so part of this is to get what's out there, and part of it is to lock in the Commonwealth to what they really have, so you can, bite them in the ass later if somebody comes up that isn't disclosed.
Right. Hopefully it's sooner and not later. Okay. The third one.
Yeah. Corey records. I actually looked this up because I was unfamiliar. Corey records and says, and dates of birth of all civilian witnesses. Again, trying to track down the folks that the Commonwealth is relying on. Corey records are the criminal. I used to know that acronym, criminal something something. And there are two kinds of reports and records. I literally just crumpled up and threw this one away because I thought I was done talking about this, and it was cluttering my desk.
It was cluttering.
Yeah, it was cluttering. And anytime I can find a reason to throw a piece of paper away, I do it. So these are records of criminal activity. I can't remember what the O stands for.
It stands for Massachusetts Criminal Offender Record Information.
There you go. So, and that could be anything. I mean, it could be anything. I don't think jaywalking is on there, but anything of substance. And so
they also want the addresses and the phone numbers and the date of birth of the civilians because they want to do their own. They want to do their own investigation, which they are allowed to do. Okay.
Now this next one slops over into another page. So
I will read slow.
Okay.
Any and all
go ahead.
Any and all video footage. Remember that video footage from the North Andover Police Department on June 30th, 2025, during the time in which Miss Fitzsimmons was at the station for her CPR recertification. The names and contact information of any officer that interacted with or observed Miss Fitzsimmons at that time. So this is interesting, Michael, because this is the same day that she was shot. This is the same day she waited for 3 hours for her boyfriend with the baby at the park because he asked her to meet him there. First time I'm hearing that she was recertified for CPR at the station that day.
Yeah, obviously in anticipation of her returning to work, right? So interesting that it was on the same day.
Mm-hmm. Tells me
and we know she was supposed to go back to work on the 4th of July.
Sounds like there's video.
I would think. Otherwise, it's kind of a random request.
Yeah, that sounds like the video. So that'll be interesting. Next, 5.
Any and all training records for Lieutenant Sean Daly, Officer Timothy Houston, and Officer Patrick Noonan. Those are the guys, 3 of them. It took 3 of them to go to the house there at that unknown address on June 30th. So obviously that relates to how do you handle one of these TROs, folks? And where does it say call the person who made the complaint 10 minutes after you get there? Because that's what happened here. Mr. A, Justin A, was called 10 minutes after they got there to come in and assist in removing the baby from Kelsey Fitzsimmons. So
As
where's
opposed
that
to
training?
somebody from Child Protective Services.
Exactly. Some third party that isn't part of the battle. It's just so, are they either that stupid or is it that intentional? Because it can't be anywhere in between. You can't let that happen. This is the guy that lit the match. Why don't we just take and let him, set the house on fire? Come on over.
Saying that figuratively, YouTube. Okay. 6.
You are blocked. You have incited violence. Okay, go ahead.
And that's any and all disciplinary records for any officer or firefighter who responded to the unknown address that's now been sold, that was all over realtor.com, that was mentioned by the police in the press conference for the first time. And it was in the town of North Andover. We know that. There should be no issue because this is what this is about. Or the Massachusetts General Hospital on or after June 30th, 2025. I always love this request for disciplinary records, Michael.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then you have to assume they're, again, sometimes you're just locking somebody into an answer because they're never going to give you what you want. But if you then come upon it by another source, you got them. And so that's what I think they're doing here. You have a right to ask for this material. And if they're stupid enough to hide it from you, it's going to come back to bite them.
Yeah, especially when there's always a fight as to, well, what constitutes a disciplinary record?
Yeah.
Does a desk file where you've orally reprimand somebody and it gets put in the desk, a desk reprimand constitute a disciplinary record under, the contracts or under the protocol? So that's always the fight on those. So
Number 8. Complete personnel file.
7. But you forgot 7.
Oh, we did. Oh, I saw disciplinary, and I missed it from the one above. Complete disciplinary and training records for Officer Patrick Noonan from North Andover Police Department and Lawrence Police Department. So they're digging a little deeper on the shooter.
Okay. And then what is important about that is that the judge who put Kelsey in jail identified this person by name. The judge in open court identified the person name and said that we have to protect him from Kelsey Fitzsimmons. So we are not disclosing information that the judge in the court did not disclose publicly.
Yes. And I should say, before we move on, we posted the entire unedited interview episode on X. And it's long, but took a while to upload, but it's all there. All of it that YouTube tried to squash. And
Including
if they do
my
it here,
wedding picture.
including the wedding pictures. If they do that again, because here's some documents, government, public documents that have the address on it. If they decide that's squashable, I think we got a problem.
In the world, right. Okay. All right. Let's see.
Number 8.
Am I reading this?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Complete personnel file for Officer Kelly Fitzsimmons. She should be entitled to a personnel file just intervenes here. From the North Andover Police Department, and any documents reflecting any complaints or demands for any type of relief made by Ms. Fitzsimmons against the department or in relation to her employment at NAPD, the North Andover Police Department. So, Michael, you know this well.
Well, she had a little problem, and she wasn't the only one that had filed an action against the captain for various discrimination actions. And then, if you look at the timing on this, she's suspended or on administrative leave during her postpartum depression issues, just post-childbirth. And then, so they take her badge, take her gun. Then she brings the action against the captain for his actions in discriminating against her. And then they resolve that. And within a few days, she gets her gun and her badge back, and she's put back on the work schedule. So what they want, because it was never really litigated, the complaint was made, but it was never litigated. So they're asking for all of that information that's connected to that complaint.
And I think she's entitled to her whole personnel file. It's her personnel file.
I think you are by law. Yeah.
But
okay, number 9, all statements including text, emails, voicemails, writings, and the like between or among any civilian witness, police, or prosecutors, and Justin A., Courtney A., Ashley A., N.A. Community Support Coordinator Crystal Clooney, or a written summary of the statements pursuant to Rule 14. We know Rule 14. So I think it's interesting. It's the whole A family, right?
Right.
Why would they be involved? Why would they be involved?
Well, obviously Timothy Bradel believes there's certain information we don't have access to, but he does. And this public document that is filed with the courts asking for discovery that everybody has, including the names at YouTube, even though you don't want the names repeated, including the names that have been repeated hundreds of thousands of times. Okay, there you go. Pursuant to Rule 14, because if it's a Brady material, which Rule 14 is, and it's been expanded recently to require a lot of different things to be given to the defense, they are entitled to it. Okay. So, number 10. This is good stuff. Any and all information relative to any witness officer being placed on a, quote, Brady list for alleged misconduct and any prior incidents of police misconduct. Now that's going to be a witness officer. So they're talking about any officer, anyone involved in this case who even might be a witness.
Yeah.
Anything.
Do they actually put their people on Brady lists, or they just fight about it and never do it? I have to check with Commissioner Cox on that.
Yeah, you know, the commissioner of the state police, who Alan Jackson has to be placed on a Brady list, and the response is he's not a police officer.
He's not a police officer.
He's a civilian employee, so he can't be placed on the Brady list, even though he came from Ann Arbor, right, as the head of the police to Boston. But he is a civilian employee. So
it's unbelievable.
Yeah. I think that's litigatable, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
So the question is, will they excuse me, will they provide any? I'm dying here.
Take your time, relax. Okay. I can read the next one.
Okay.
Let me read it while you're because will they provide it, and have there been any officers? Number 11. And then let me just say something. Remember, you're dealing with an officer. So she and other officers who have sued, there's been other female officers who have sued, may in fact know about people being placed on Brady lists. So this is why this document that Tim Bradel may not just be a form document. It may be a document that reflects some not inside information, but information that employees would know. So let me read number 11 while Michael hopefully comes out of this without choking to death. Any and all phone records from all witness officers, including Chief Gray. Remember, he gave the press conference disclosing all the names and the information about the place of the shooting. Officer Eric Sewade, Officer Tyler Thomas, via phone extraction and not screenshots. For communications relative to Officer Kelsey Fitzsimmons and any or the incident that occurred on June 30th, 2025. Is there a phone extraction?
We love phone extractions. And this is directed to Chief Gray, and I said captain, my mistake. He's the chief. He's
the one who gave the press conference, who gave the address.
And the one that was sued or brought a complaint against.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. I'd love to see a phone extraction where they're talking about her.
Well, and there was reference up above to, private phones. So, once they make that connection, then open up the whole thing, baby.
Including anything that may be in the iCloud, a la Proctor, who was changing his phones and thinking that because that the stuff that the texts that he had weren't being deleted in the iCloud, leading to the whole issue that we have in the Walsh case, which is coming up for opening statements on December 1st. All right, let me read it for this. Let me read, Michael, while because you've been a little, uh, uh, you're talking a lot because
I'm
you're covering a
recovering.
lot. Number 12, any and all police reports, log notes, radio communications, 911 calls, or written communications relating to any calls for service at the address that shall not be named, even though it was named by the chief of police, and even though it's been talked about, and even though it's been sold, and even though it's been mentioned in court a gazillion times, from November 2024 through present, including the incident that is the basis for the charge in this case. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think the written communications relating to the calls would be of most interest. Obviously, you want the recorded calls, but what did they precipitate? What kind of follow up was there for that? I'd like to see that. The other stuff, pretty basic. Police reports. There's some log notes might be interesting. Yeah, so this is a broad swath. I mean, they're part of discovery is fishing. You're doing two things. You're looking for things that will help your case, flesh out your case, and you're looking for things that hurt the other side.
Right.
So
right. That they usually don't want to give you. That's what the fight is about. Yeah.
Okay, I'll jump in.
Okay.
13. Any and all. Do we just do this one?
No.
Any and all text messages, voicemails, notes, or emails between any responding officers and Justin A. for the last 2 years.
That's the baby father, the father of the baby that was taken from Kelsey Fitzsimmons. Okay.
Yep. Are you objecting to any of these if you're in the Commonwealth? I mean, legitimately.
Yeah, you are. If you're in the Commonwealth, you're objecting. You're saying they're irrelevant.
They're vague and overbroad.
I'm vague and overbroad. You object to everything. I don't expect them to answer. I expect them to do the same thing that all the time that they do in these kind of situations. So that's irrelevant. The only thing that's irrelevant is what was his viewpoint, what was his feeling, and the fact that there was a court or there was an order to say take the baby away. And any text, voicemails, notes, emails, all that's irrelevant. That's behind and all. That's what I expect them to respond. There's going to be a big fight over that.
Yeah, and then there will be motions to compel, and then they'll go in front of the court, and blah blah blah. I remember, part of what's happened, most recently in the setting of a trial date is that really locks in some of these time frames and shortens them dramatically. If you have a trial coming up in a few months, you can't let this linger.
No.
You let them respond with all of their go away, I don't care, no, you're not getting anything. Then you file your motion and you get it before the court as quickly as you can so that these issues can be decided, because you can't go to trial without this stuff.
Yeah. And then let me read the last one we're going to talk about, because we're running out of time, even though there may be some issue of whether or not there was cameras that had been posted at the bash, the bachelorette party bash. Okay. So we will leave you with that possibility, but let's read this. Any and all documents related to any trainings relative to use of force, domestic calls, mental health related calls, service of restraining orders, and taking of custody of children that any witness officer has attended. A list of any such trainings offered and conducted by the North Andover Police Department, regardless of whether or not the responding officers attended such trainings for the last 7 years. Any and all policies, procedures of North Andover Police Department relating to any of the aforementioned categories. So here, what are they trying to do?
Yeah, it's just what they're expanding upon what they asked for above, which is how are these guys trained? Is this the way they were trained to carry out a TRO when a minor child is involved? Do you bring the significant other to the scene? I mean, all of those things. What's the book say, and what did they do? I'm pretty sure they violated a few rules. Just a thought. Just by kind of dividing and conquering. Remember, they had one officer go with her upstairs, just one-on-one, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then the others stayed downstairs. But why? I mean, I know
it's a mystery to me how this was handled.
We know the mom was there, Ms. Page. So, okay, maybe you want to stay one with her. But it seems to me you don't want one officer with the subject of the TRO at any given time.
Why don't you let her mom go with her? She'd be the most person to help her in a time of very upsetting situation, quite frankly, as a whole. And I think that's also with the training materials. Do you have somebody from Child Protective Service? You have a mental health professional. what do you have go with someone? You're taking their child away from them
Mhm.
without any notice that this was going to happen. Nothing.
Yeah.
Next first thing she knew, she was getting married in a few minutes to the father of the baby daddy.
And they're looking for, his connection, Justin A's connection with the cops
Right.
leading up to this happening.
As a firefighter, not only his connection as a person, but also as a professional firefighter,
as one of
in
the
one of the good
employees
old
of the
boys.
town.
Right.
And
And
so then
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, then you have this question about whether he should be invited or not on any level. And I don't know how they get there. I just don't know how they get to that.
Well, and then we will leave you, as I said, there's an open question about whether or not there is video of the bachelor party that was installed at the house where the bachelor party was taking place. So I will leave you with that, because by the time we see you again, Michael Bryant will have attended the hearing for Kelsey Fitzsimmons, right? And he'll be able to answer a lot of these questions that we have raised, even if the court doesn't get to them, which I do not expect them to get to them on the first blush.
Yeah, probably not. But they are going to, and what we're seeing with this paperwork here is, we're looking at the merits of the case. What a shock, because we've been so bogged down with the procedural problems with Judge McCarthy Naaman. We haven't gotten to the merits, and this is the first touch into what really happened. What was the basis for everybody's maneuvering on that day, especially the cops. And the defense has a right to explore this, and they're doing it.
Yeah. By the way, my earrings are an honor. This hands off our bodies.
Wait, hold on.
Hands off our bodies.
Let me get this here. There we go.
Hands off our bodies. Okay. All right.
Okay. All right then. Well, hope
As
everybody's
we
enjoying the. What do you got there? Well, you got more.
No.
bling?
I'm just saying that this is the magnifying glass, because I think sometimes you have to look deeply into these cases and don't give them short shrift like I expect the judge may do initially, but I don't expect Tim Bradle to let that happen in the final countdown. So.
All righty then. Well, I hope everybody's enjoying their Thanksgiving week, and we will be back with more. We're just going to pop up, right? I don't know. When we're there, we're there, and hopefully you'll get notice of it, and then you'll have a chance when you get notice.
But you only get
watch
notice
quickly, because then I take it down.
You only get notice if you're subscribed. Hit the like, share, and the notify button. But yes, they may take it down because for some reason, maybe YouTube thinks that talking about a Kelsey Fitzsimmons who's in jail after she was shot because she couldn't comply by blowing into a scram, alcohol abuse. Maybe for some reason that's squashing because they don't want to talk about the female who is actually being hurt in this situation. We can talk about the actual case later, but right now we're talking about her YouTube, and we have a right to do that. And if you don't think so, then there's still something wrong with your bot algorithm.
Yeah, there's got to be something fixed there. So watch this quickly before it disappears. In the meantime, we are Just to Serve TV. YouTube, try to do the right thing.